Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Yes, hello.
How's it going, GR Dad?
Fine.
Yeah, indeed. The cocktail of... This is going to be like a rules-ish podcast.
I'm like getting a little bit of hives at that description, but I'm going to let it go.
The cocktail of the week this week is the mosquito.
Which is a fantastic name when you hear how it was derived.
It's a mojito, but with scotch instead of rum.
The
Mojito, but scotch mosquito.
So good. So good.
But honestly, we both just wanted regular mojitos. That's what we're drinking.
Because we like rum.
Delish.
Yep. But in concept, you could put scotch in there and call it the mosquito.
Yeah, I will do that at some point.
I hate mosquitoes.
I know, but you might like... I mean, you also hate scotch, but you might like...
This could be something where I just have a... I really start from a hole, and the drink had better be really good to dig itself out.
We have a nice bottle of scotch that our friend Cody gave us that's not peaty at all. And when we're done podcasting, I'll make the mosquito with that, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I don't like mosquitoes. I'm just saying.
Got it.
This is gonna be. I'm not an impartial judge of this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about hops.
Yep.
So, you and Hopper had your honeymoon in Niagara Falls.
Second honeymoon.
Which I think is maybe the greatest trip of her entire life.
She had a great time. And her getting petted by a bunch of people and tourists at Niagara Falls who were super excited to see her in that red cart must have also be a highlight. She really enjoyed it. She would like wag.
I'm sorry. Having 5 days where she thought you had finally left me and the two of you had just run away together like she had always wanted it to be, I think was probably the highlight.
Yeah, this has been a theme.
Finally, the lady is gone.
This has been a theme.
You picked me.
In her life. When she was a puppy, I do remember she used to she used to be able to jump on the bed, and she'd hop on the bed and then like just lie on my chest and kind of like try to smother me, I think, to just have me for herself.
And I'd be like, Hops,
and
hello.
And she'd like try to crawl up over my mouth when I talked.
So that was a little over 2 weeks ago. And, we did this. You did all of the work for this. I did the logistics and you did the actual hard part.
As usual, you were the brains and I was the driver.
Because things were getting quite desperate with Hops, which is why Ingo drove for 3,000 miles to Canada to get her a Librela injection to help with her arthritis. And with Librela, it takes 30 days to reach its full impact. A lot of people who have been using it said that it really took 30 days for them to start seeing something.
It's monoclonal antibodies.
Yep. It inhibits the nerve growth factor, which is the thing that impacts the pain that you have with the arthritis. And so we were like, okay, we got to make it a month. And you got back, and we had talked about this on the last podcast, and then I left for a week. And so I kind of wasn't here for that first week.
Mm-hmm. Elevator's still broken.
Yeah. So you guys were gone for a week. And then when you got back, I left for a week. So it was kind of 2 weeks of me not seeing Hops.
Yep.
And I was astonished at how bad she was when I got back from that trip. She did not get any better after the trip to Niagara Falls. She was remarkably worse than when you guys left for the trip. And that's not the trip's fault. She has been on just an accelerating decline in terms of the functionality of her one leg that was left, which is why we did that dramatic trip in the first place.
Yep.
And so when I got back, last weekend, she couldn't put any weight on that leg.
That's right. It led to the result was she couldn't move herself.
If we put her down standing up, she couldn't stand up. If we put her down with her butt on the ground sitting down, she couldn't sit down. That leg would give out. And what that meant is that when she would go outside to like go to the bathroom, before I left, she could take a couple steps away after she went. And by the time I got back, she could maybe take a step away. And by Tuesday-ish of last week, she could not. And if we didn't keep an eye on it, she could barely hold herself up to go to the bathroom anyway. She was mostly just balancing on her back legs. And then she would immediately fall in it if we didn't catch her, but she wouldn't let us hold her up. I mean, Voods was like that at the end, where his back legs were so weak that he couldn't hold himself up, and I spent plenty of nights holding his butt up while he went to the bathroom, and he didn't care. He was fine with it. Hops
probably
would stop
it.
going if we tried to support her front part.
Yeah.
And so the arm brace that we got for her didn't help at all with this, and they had sort of said, like, given the movement that she has, we're not sure this is going to help. I actually emailed them last week, beginning of this past week, and was just like, here's the situation, like, do you have any ideas? And they're like, honestly, like, given what you sent us and her mobility, like, we don't think this is going to help. I had said we bought her a cart, and they're like, the cart's probably your best option. We spent so much time with her with that damn cart, like a front wheel wheelchair cart.
Yeah, with treats and cajoling and pushing and not pushing, and she didn't at all want to do it.
Absolutely refused.
Or do it. I mean, if you were pushing her, she'd go forward. But as soon as you let go, she'd just like kind of try to roll the thing.
She would try to tip it sideways to get out of it. She hated it.
Or it was trying to dive her nose under the, like,
the little push bar
harness,
on the chest.
Yeah.
And the people who made the cart, Eddie's Wheels, were super helpful. Like, we kept sending them videos and pictures, and they were like, this is, it has to be like this. They gave it adjustments, and it didn't matter. Like, she just didn't want to use it.
Yeah.
And nothing we did could make her use it. And so by the end of last week, like, if we would put her, Inga would carry her down the stairs because the elevator's still broken. He would set her down, and then she would balance like a dog doing a trick, balance up on her back leg. So she didn't have to have her front leg even touch the ground. We had started last week putting her in the ocean to pee, because then she had some support. And she did for a few days at the beginning of last week. She would go to the bathroom. I mean, she would pee in the ocean.
We put her in that life vest that gave her some buoyancy, so she didn't have much weight on that front leg ever.
Yeah. But it was just like really bad and getting worse, like even over the course of last week. And I had started to wonder to myself if maybe the cancer that she had, the synovial sarcoma, which is what she had in the leg they amputated, had come back and was in the other elbow. And so on Friday, I emailed Dr. June in Canada, who's the vet who gave her the Librela. And I was like, listen, it's been 2 weeks. I know this takes 30 days to kick in, but like, here's what's going on. And I just kind of laid out more concisely everything that we just said. And I'm like, she's engaged, she's happy, she wants to play tug, she's fine when she's laying down, but she literally does not want that front leg to even touch the ground. It just even to balance her, she won't let it touch the ground. She's in a huge amount of pain.
And she's on 3 different kinds of pain.
She was on fentanyl, which should take care of everything. Like, she was also on like her maxed out dose of gabapentin and carprofen, and she was getting laser treatments at the vet. But she was on fentanyl, which should take care of everything, and it did not make even like a 1% difference. Nothing touched it, and so I explained all of this to Dr. June in an email, and I was like, should we tough this out for 2 more weeks, because the Librela might kick in then? And if it does, is it going to make enough difference, right? If she's on fentanyl now, plus all this other stuff, and it's not even touching the pain, even if Librela is great, is it great enough that it will be more effective
than fentanyl?
Yeah. And she was so great. And I mean, within an hour had sent me this really long, thoughtful reply that was, that talked about her dog and what her experience had been, and how, questions that, she just had not based on like real data, but just from practice about like dogs with cancer and how they might respond to it. And she's like, honestly, if you're not seeing any difference in 2 weeks, there's, a 45% chance that it's even going to work at all after 60 days, with 2 rounds of injections. And a thing that you very rarely get a vet to do, she's like, honestly, I think talking to your vet about euthanasia is the right choice at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, she was like very compassionate and lovely, but it was so great to have her be like, here's all the information, and honestly, like, you're thinking about if it's time, and it sounds like it is.
Yeah, and just to make sure no one's getting the wrong impression, they loved Hops at the practice.
Of course,
they met her, they got to know her, they loved her. They sent a nice note on our Twitter message or our Instagram message about Hopper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't a flippant suggestion or thought of hers. I mean, she knew it was as tragic as it was.
Yeah. So I had also called, left a message for our regular vet here to call us, who we totally trust on these things and who gives us honest advice, but like doesn't have any experience giving Librela because it's not approved here. So I forwarded Dr. June's email to our vet here, and I was like, it seems like there's only one option at this point. And she's like, yeah. And interestingly, both Dr. June in her email and without that information, our vet here were like, I wonder if that cancer has come back in her leg.
Yeah.
We had talked about doing an x-ray, and then by the time we brought her in, it was like, who the fuck cares? Like, I would be interested, because that's how it was when she had the cancer. Like, nothing made any difference with how painful it was. But yeah, so we kind of decided Friday was when we had all those conversations, like,
yeah, this is when I was driving Remy to and from Miami just for his cancer checkup.
and he's fine.
He's fine.
He's doing great. So, then it was like, all right, well, let's, have the best time that we can have with Hops, and then, get her out of the pain that she's in. And I'm sure she was in pain in the house.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to add to it, because I think it's obvious to you, but it's something I've had to kind of make clear to myself the whole time. It's not, I mean, we say she couldn't take a step, or she couldn't lift herself up, or she couldn't. It just hurt her so much, right? She I mean, physically, the muscles worked and everything. She could have, but it must have been excruciating pain. Like she would accidentally put weight on her foot, her front leg, in the water, and she'd kind of roll off and be like, ow, she never cried or anything. She was a really stoic dog, but it was just so painful for her. And yes, when she was lying here, I'm sure it was painful too.
Yeah, I think a difference that's come up in our conversations, like the whole time with this, is that you differentiate between like her bone is broken and like the leg mechanically can't do the thing, versus like the pain is so intense that she can't do it. Like, you differentiate between those two things, and I don't.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
Fair.
It's fine. Either way, she couldn't walk. It's not that she didn't want to, right? She couldn't, because of the pain versus because of mechanical, but she couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we took her out for a paddleboard on Friday night, and Ingo came on his kayak, and
She liked it.
she had a great time. We put her in the water with her little life jacket on and kind of held her up, and Ingo fed the fish
All
like
around
right in
her.
front of her, and all the fish were like jumping around.
Yeah.
We took her into the neighbor's pool, and I do what I call hops flying, where I just kind of hold her and then like run around in the pool with her. So it's kind of like she's swimming very fast, except she's not doing anything with her legs.
She did. She seemed to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gave her a Hershey bar.
Mm-hmm. She's always loved chocolate.
She always would try to like lick the chocolate out of our mouths when we were eating chocolate. So we gave her some of it here, but I brought like a whole extra large Hershey bar that Ingo had picked up when we went to the vet with her. And I was like, all right, like, this is it. You can eat this whole thing. And like her mind was blown.
She was so
because she's had like little tastes
happy.
Before, but it's like, I'm like, here's a square of Hershey's chocolate. And then she's like, oh man, that was good. I was like, would you like another? And then she ate it. And then like her ears were all like super perked up.
She was like
She's
looking over at the bar.
Like she, so eventually I had to start like breaking little squares into like sub squares because she'd just eat it and just be like, more please. And
she stopped like looking at us or caring about anything but that chocolate bar.
She's like, this is the best thing I have ever done in my whole life. So when the vet came in, they put her IV in, and I'm like giving her chocolate, and the vet's like, are you guys ready? And we're like, okay. And so they give her propofol first, which is just, puts her, it's an anesthetic, right? Like you get that as a human if you do surgery too. An anesthesia drug, sorry. And so that just makes her go to sleep before they give the euthanasia drug. And like as he's injecting it, she's like laying on her side and she kind of turns her head back and she's like, more chocolate, please. And I was like, okay. And I like bring a little piece over, and she fell asleep before it got in her mouth. But she literally was eating chocolate until she was unconscious.
And it's also a good test of, is she unconscious? Because if that would, like if she's faking it, that would have brought her right back, and she'd been like, oh, chocolate. Oh, yeah.
There were a handful of people who were assholes to me on Twitter about that. They can go fuck themselves. It is the best thing I have ever done for a dog, is be able to feed that chocolate bar to Hopper. She was so happy.
Yeah, and it's not like she's developing kidney condition because of it.
Yeah, they're like, isn't that toxic? And I'm like, oh, you know what's toxic? Like what we're about to do. Like she's going to die in like 2 minutes. Like, why are you worried about this? This is food moralizing.
It's like,
assholes.
seriously, to be like, she's going to get fat. Well, really? But you guys, think about this.
Interestingly, we try not to get political. Every one of the fucking people who gave me a hard time about the chocolate, I clicked through their profiles and were like fucking MAGA trolls. If you're a MAGA person, you can just go ahead and unfollow the golden ratio, because I don't want to hear anything that you have to say, even if you're being nice to me. Like, you're disqualified. And like, interesting that all the assholes giving me a hard time were
they're not nice people.
MAGA people. Fuck those guys.
No.
So anyway, so yeah, that was Friday night.
Yeah, and now there's a Hop-size hole in the household, in addition to the already present Vood-size hole, who also had a, big personality and all these great mannerisms that aren't there. Now Hops is missing, and it's, yeah, I've woke up a few times last night because it was thunder and Brody was, grumpy, and I thought I saw Hops, curl up in front of the bed a few times, like just in the dark.
In her spot.
No, but she wasn't. Or it was Vank. Vank, opportunist.
Yeah. With Voods, it was the same as this in a way that like we had to talk to people, because when you're in it and you're doing like that much extreme effort to keep them going, you sort of lose perspective. And you were sort of saying that you were like, maybe this thing will be a miracle. Maybe if we amputate her other leg, then we can get her to work in this thing. And I know you didn't mean any of that seriously, and you said that, right? But it's just like,
we would have done, and we did anything, right? Like, it just, you would bargain with the devil for this. Like, we did so much stuff. I would have carried her for years, right? Because that's just what you do, right? It was, if she hadn't been otherwise unable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we did everything, and we would have done more, if there had been any chance, or anyone had said, oh yeah, just 2 more weeks and it's going to be everything's going to be fixed, I guarantee it,
Yeah.
But no one could say. In fact, every vet said the opposite, and Hops was she was just, it's very stoic and always wanted to be good, but I mean, we would put her down in the house and she couldn't move from that spot.
No.
I'd have to move her at night into the bedroom to be able to sleep next to
But that
next
also
to
meant
my
like
side.
she couldn't drink, right? Like we had
Right.
to put her bowl down in front of her every hour to make sure she would drink, because she couldn't, like she literally couldn't stand up. She couldn't sit up where she was. She could roll onto one side.
Yeah.
Sometimes she'd move, she'd roll onto one side, and then she'd flip and roll on the other side, and then she'd kind of shift over. She wouldn't actually try to
Like she found
locomotive that
ways
way,
to
but
to move a foot or
that's as much as
2
she could
feet
do.
in one direction or another by kind of rolling and scooching with her back legs, but she couldn't get up at all. There was just nothing. It was such a it was so limited.
And then you stop doing that and you go like, oh, we have been doing a lot to just
Yeah.
keep her like very basic level of functioning.
Yeah. And she's so stoic that she was never crying or whimpering about it.
No.
But frankly, if she had been doing that in a level equal to what she was going through, I think we would have made the decision earlier. Would have been more obvious.
Yeah, I think it was much harder because like she wanted, like she'd get bored and like make sounds and then would like tug it or like play fetch, like pushing the ball with her nose. Like she loved being in the water, though in the last week she couldn't really be in the water the same way because she couldn't use that front leg at all. And that's why we had to start using the life jacket.
Yeah.
Because she would try to lay down in the water so she didn't have to use that leg.
Yep.
But like she was engaged and happy, and if she had been like most of the other dogs when we had to put them down, I was telling you, I think back to like Queso, who was just like so uncomfortable and like so sad,
panting all night, right? That was kind of the test, just from discomfort and pain.
Hops was like the ideal last day with a dog.
Yeah.
In terms of like, she really was able to, and like she loved our paddleboard ride. She loved like just, honestly, I think she would have been glad if I hadn't been there and it's just been the two of you, but like not just getting to be like a single dog for like 4 hours and, hang out in the water with us and go to the pool with us and go on the paddleboard and like get her snacks. Like she enjoyed all of that.
Yeah. Get the attention of being a single dog. Yeah.
I mean,
only dog.
That picture that I posted, with her in front of the gumbo limbo tree, kind of telling you all that we had to say goodbye. Like we took that picture on Friday night, a couple hours before we brought her to the vet. And she's clearly so happy because she was just like having such a good time.
We were both focusing just on her. You were rolling the ball and I was drawing her. And I mean, she was just like, I like this.
Yeah. And then we tried to get her to pee and she just like sat up on her back legs and couldn't touch her foot down. And, in the pool, she was getting sore just from like floating there. So it's like there was clearly something wrong, but she was able to be like really engaged and happy and enjoy the stuff that we were doing. And Maggie was like that, like her last day. She had been up all night panting but she wasn't. But man, I fed that dog so much food. She had chicken strips and waffles and ice cream and like all kinds of stuff and was able to enjoy it. And that was so much better than, a lot of the other options. It hasn't really set in for me yet. Like I understand that she's not here.
Right. Right. No, it's going to take a while, but to get worse for a while, and then I guess better. We had her for 10 years. She turned 10 on May 5th.
Yeah, I brought her home.
And we had her from
July 1st, 2013. So she almost made it exactly 10 years with me. She was a week short.
Yeah, and she loved being an only dog. And then we got
she got that for like
and then she was
6 months.
This thing's staying? Ugh, all right, fine. And then every successive edition of dogs, Hops was like, all right, I'll go along with it because I'm a team player, but, I still love you guys. Yeah.
The one, I guess, administrative bit someone had asked, they're like, I really don't want to be insensitive, but, like, are you going to get her back because of the Morris Animal Foundation because we had to give them the leg? Which is, like, actually a great question. So for those who are curious about that, we got a necropsy kit, and I've had it for a year
from the Morris Animal Foundation.
Morris Animal Foundation. And I've had it just in case, because I think I probably got it when we did the amputation, because I'm like, I'm not sure.
Yep.
We didn't know if she was going to make it.
Yep.
So we've just had it, and I opened it up on Friday because I was like, oh, fuck, like, I guess we got to do this. So it turns out it's optional. You don't have to do it. And there's kind of two variations. Like, they want to take, like organ samples basically and send them in, I think, because they're looking for cancer. And like one of them, you can't, like, if you wanted to bury the dog on your property, not cremated, but like bury them, one of them you don't get the body back like that. I don't know why. And one of them you do. And I was like, well, it doesn't really matter for us because we're just going to have her cremated. But it's like, you don't actually have to do it. And so we brought the box with us and kind of set it down in they put us in the acupuncture room. So it's like got a couch and it's like very nice. And they leave us in there, right? So they finish and they're like, take all the time you need. We paid ahead of time. So it's like, you can just, whenever you want, you can just leave. And so we're getting ready to go. And we're like, what do we do with this box? And I'm like, we're just going to leave this box here and it's going to be their problem.
We opened the box and left it there.
There's a little note on top.
We didn't talk to the vet about it. We didn't do a very mature job at that point. We're just like, not our problem. Decide. Not our problem.
It was like the after hours vet. I'm like, if they don't have anything to do, maybe they'll do this. If they are busy, they probably won't.
That's right.
I don't fucking care.
He's got all night. Now he's got he's got to do something with this kit that's here.
If they want to throw it away, it's fine with me. So who knows? I guess we'll probably find out in the portal at some point.
But we have not. We just haven't. We didn't deal with it.
Nope.
We didn't. But we left the box. We left the option.
With the note on it.
Very Schrodinger's cat kind of thing. Like we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. The conditions are equal that it might happen or it might not. We don't know.
See, somebody else can make that decision.
But we are going to get Hopper's ashes.
Yes, we will get those back.
It may be less than complete, or it may be complete. We don't know.
Yep.
We have for every other dog.
I did on yesterday reach out to the people at Great and was like, listen, we are down 2 dogs.
We don't have enough dogs. I mean, it was already a problem going from 6 to 5, but now
4 dogs is ridiculous.
There's 1 or 2. There's always a dog missing.
Yeah. And I was like, I just want you to know, we are, like, they've got to not be aggressive because Remy's a jerk. I mean, I love him, but he's a jerk.
Go ahead.
And so I was like, but if if some come in, just want you to know that, like, we have space and energy and would like to have more, so let us know.
And didn't they say, we thought you only wanted sick ones? We haven't found anyone senior enough recently, so we haven't been asking you. It's like, no.
And they're like, but then you had Nacho, and I was like, listen, like, like, it's very rewarding to take care of the sick ones. Of course, we love the seniors, but they've got to be not crazy. So please don't send us any young ones. Like, that doesn't work. But like Vodes was 3, and he's like the best.
Yeah,
I love that guy. But I'm like, whatever. So they're like, well, we're doing like a lot of like Amish breeder dog rescue, like the Amish farms. Once I
had no idea this was a thing.
We talk about this a little bit in the book, The Purest Bond,
which is available for pre-order now on Amazon.
if you pre-order from Honest Dog Books, it'll come with a potograph. But yeah, we talk about it how like there's a lot of breeding operations in Amish country for Goldens, but also all kinds of dogs. And people are like, oh, it's the Amish, like they're peaceful and whatever. And they're not all mistreated, but they are generally treated much more like livestock than pets. Like they're
for breeding and for making money.
They live in the barn. They're a way to make money and to breed, but that's it. They are not lovingly treated. And there's a lot of Amish breeding operations that are absolutely puppy mills, and the dogs are terribly treated. Not all of them. I think just like with anything, right? There are people who like breed dogs in non-Amish society, and some of them treat the dogs terribly and some of them don't. But I think the Amishness of it kind of whitewashes it with this like idyllic rural lifestyle, and it is definitely not like that for a lot of the dogs. And in some cases they just shoot the dogs when they're done breeding, And a lot of the rescue groups, the South Florida Golden Rescue Group that I don't think we've fostered for them yet, but like we're in their system. They also are taking in Amish breeding dogs. I think a lot of the Golden Rescues, at least, and maybe other breeds, but the Golden Rescues have stepped up and said, if you're getting out of the business, if you've got, breeder dogs that aren't breeding anymore, like just give them to us and we'll place them.
Don't kill them.
But
basically.
but they come in with a lot of issues, not just health issues, but like they've never been in a car before. They have never heard a washing machine or a vacuum cleaner or a TV, anything mechanized, motorized, anything electric. And they've been in a barn. So they tend to be extremely anxious, not like aggressive anxious. They all seem to be like very sweet, nice dogs, but just absolutely freaked out. And a lot of breeder dogs are like that though. Like whether they come from puppy mills or just like bred out situations, like they tend to have they're much harder to kind of socialize and connect with.
There's no effort made to socialize them because they're just breeders.
It's just kind of in their crates all the time.
It's terrible.
But I mean, like Sizzle is a great exception. I mean, she had a fucking terrible life and was just in a cage and mistreated. But
one of those dogs,
didn't need any help learning to bond.
Yeah, and was
great.
Very, very well adapted to living in society.
Yeah. So we may get some of those dogs, and I was like, the person at Great was saying that, mostly they get the females because I think, they have a more limited breeding time. And I was like, great. We haven't had any girl dogs since 2018. I mean, we took Swizzle, so I guess she came in 2018. That is the last time we've had a girl dog.
We want more girl dogs. Things were idyllic with all girls. When we had 6 girls, it was the best. Did we have 6? 5.
5. And Riley, honorary girl.
He was an honorary girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. But these idiot males, I'm looking at you, Guac.
Man.
And Remy, I'm looking at you, even though you can't really see me looking at you. I am.
So we'll see. They know that we're ready, and they know we do a good job taking care of them. So there will be more squad members coming.
Almost to the point where I'm driving around the street, just with the extra leash in the car and some salami. Just loosely attended.
There was
anyone like me better than their owners?
There was a blind 15-month-old golden that the South Florida Rescue Group took in from China. They didn't know he was blind at the time. They just took a big batch of dogs in, and you just get who you get when they do that. And they found out that this guy was blind and he was up for adoption. And I was like, oh, maybe this dog. I'm like, I don't know, 15 months is a great idea. And so I emailed them and I was like, can you tell me more about this dog? Like, we've got one who, has to be with Remy has to be with a dog who's not going to snap at him or freak him out or step on him. I'm like, what do you think about this? And at the same time, I emailed Ingo and I was like, what do you think? And Ingo's like, absolutely not.
I think I was either in Niagara Falls or on the way there or on the way back. And I was just like, wow, I don't think I have the capacity for a 15-month-old right, who may or may not be housebroken, who's not socialized, who's going to be super hyper, or super, an excess of emotions one way or the other, and blind in our environment with no elevator, with the water that just allows escapos.
You can hear Ingo is overwhelmed just at the idea, and he's like, no. I was like, okay, that's fine.
Seemed like that's not going to be a great fit for Ingo.
And I think we both get full veto power on bringing in or keeping dogs.
I think you made the mistake of looking at the picture.
Oh, he was extremely cute.
That's why I never looked at the picture.
Cute.
I can do this in the abstract. You're doing it in the concrete.
Meanwhile, like the ladies fostering, like I was just like, could you give me some more information? And they're like, we passed your info along to the foster. And she's like, you sound perfect. I want you to take this dog. And I was like, my husband's not into it.
Suspicious.
She's like, well, have him stop by. He's driving from Canada back to Florida. Great. Like, have him stop by and he can meet and then see. And I'm like, I think his answer is going to be no. And she's like, I just can tell that this is going to work. And I was like,
suspicious.
What are you thinking? And he's like, absolutely not. And I was like, sorry. And she's like, I'm so disappointed. But now I was just looking at their website, and it looks like he has an adoption pending. So
Oh, good. That's great. I wish him the best.
Wonder was his name.
But remember what happened with Cheddar, who was
Yeah,
blind?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Wonder?
Wonder.
Well, that's pretty good.
He's a cute boy. Anyway, we are not going to take any 15-month-olds. They got to be at least like 3 or 4.
18 months.
Calm.
18 months old.
No, God, Nacho was not the right choice. I mean, I love that boy. But
Holy smokes, he had a lot of energy. That happy, goofy man.
if we didn't have Remy, Nacho would have been fine to
Yep.
stay here.
Yep.
But that didn't fit. And honestly, Nacho is so much happier with his current people, and they love him so much. I shared a video with the Patreons and the Twitter subscribers that his new people sent me of him swimming in their pool
Oh, he's in heaven. Yeah.
with his so the people who own them, their son, who is an adult, has a golden named Gouda. And I was like, this clearly was meant to be another cheese dog. And him and Gouda, Nacho and Gouda, were swimming in the pool at his new people's house. They have a big giant pool, and he was just so happy, and they love him so much, and it's great. And he's way happier with just like his one sister, and like occasionally hanging out with other people. He has had no issues at all, so he's in a better environment.
No, that was good. But yeah, he was a good boy.
So anyway, that is the update.
Yeah, that's the
sucks.
status. It's
All
not
right.
fair. It's bullshit.
terrible.
Nature sucks, and I hate cancer. And
Fuck cancer.
it was just
Everybody else is fine. None of the dogs seem to really notice anything different, which is like,
this is better.
yeah, like on one hand you go like, come on guys. On the other hand, like it's so sad when dogs are like mourning and mopey that I'm glad that we're not managing that.
Yeah, it's good, especially Vank, who just lives in the moment. It's just like,
Yeah.
"Bah."
Remy had his oncologist appointment in Miami on Friday, and he's basically the same. He had one node is like lymph node is a tiny bit bigger, but we only have to go every 2 months now, so he's doing good.
Yeah, he is otherwise doing good too. He likes swimming.
Yep. Yeah, everybody's doing fine.
Yep.
The elevator is still broken. We are on the schedule to have the new parts installed on Thursday. Will that happen? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
know.
I think it's really 50-50. The last time we were scheduled for the service visit on a Thursday, the guy came on Wednesday.
And at the time before that, they were like, he just got too busy today. We'll have him come next week.
We'll have him come a day early, and then they were like, well, you didn't. The gate was closed, so he left. And I was like, oh, I will track him down. Where does he live?
Last time we were supposed to have this done, Ingo was supposed to come to New York with me, and we had to cancel that trip to New York because we couldn't have a dog sitter carrying Hopper up and down the stairs.
Hopper and Brody.
Brody can be
True.
butt pushed,
Mm-hmm.
but Hopper cannot, and she's very heavy. So we had to cancel that trip, and we are going on a little anniversary staycation after the 4th of July, and GR Dog Sitter is coming down, and she can butt push Brody just fine, but she would not have been able to carry Hops. And I was like, what are we going to do? And we actually have a boarding reservation for Hopper at the vet in Marathon, just in case the elevator didn't get fixed. And so now I'm going to have to make the very sad call to them tomorrow to be like, we have to cancel it.
Don't need that. We'll have to cancel Hopper's laser appointments for next week, too.
So anyway, we'll keep you guys updated on the elevator. There will be great fanfare in elevator photos if it actually gets fixed. Holy cow. They're replacing everything. They're replacing the pump, the motor. Like, it's going to be like a $3,000 repair.
The first 2 days, we'll just be going up and down constantly.
Yes, we will.
It'll be like one of those paternostas. Constantly running.
All right. So this is a kind of partial rules podcast. I can give you a ramblings item if you want some distraction. We also can save it for next week.
Not doing rambling. Come on.
It's going to make you angry.
This is the best kind. This
All right.
makes everybody interested when I go rant.
Several friends of the squad sent me this specifically to share with you. I'm sorry I didn't write their names down.
Oh,
but
it's
been a
food
hell of a
anger.
week.
This is the best kind of anger. It's low stakes.
All right. So this is Go Bold with Butter.
Is the website?
Is the Instagram account.
Go Bold with Butter.
Design,
What a
Eat,
niche.
Repeat is like the influencer.
How niche.
Paid partnership with Go Bold with Butter. And this is
What?
for the waffle butter bomb.
Okay.
Okay, so what we're looking at here, I'll put this in the show notes for everybody, but it's like a stack of little waffles, and on top of it is a sphere.
A
Okay.
brownish sphere.
Waffle butter bombs. And so what you see is the sphere here melting. Inside the sphere are like raspberries and blueberries. So
Oh.
you make 2 half spheres of hollow spheres of butter with some maple syrup and some cinnamon and like some vanilla. You smush it up, you whip it up with your thing, and then you spoon it into some half sphere silicone molds, freeze it, pop them
Oh.
out, fill it up with fruits, smear some stuff on there to close it like a bath bomb.
It's just like a bath bomb.
And then it melts on the warm waffles, and then you have fruits on the top.
This doesn't make me angry
Oh, you're into the butter bomb?
because you eat it all.
Yeah.
Like you eat it's butter and you're eating it all. This is okay. This is like that dude who makes everything out of chocolate.
I mean, on
that
a
doesn't make me
butterboard,
mad.
you're eating it all.
No, you don't eat the wood. There's no wood here. This is fine. This is like that guy who makes everything out of chocolate that you can then eat. That's okay. He's just making a bath bomb out of fruits and butter.
If you were to make a butterboard, but instead of having like it on wood, you had it on like a large cracker,
Then it's not a butterboard now. Then it's just a freaking sandwich.
you'd be fine with it then.
Yeah, then it's bread, open-faced sandwich.
But what if you also were to like then also
put
scoop,
wood on it?
No. Like take your little bread slices and scoop the butter off the cracker platform that the butterboard was smeared on.
It wouldn't bother me as much.
It's the wood. All right,
Like
now
the
what's wrong
fact-
with the butter candle then?
You've turned it into wax. I don't like it.
But you can still. The whole point is that you dip in the melty butter. Then
That's you should be not. You should be eating the butter and not burning it. You shouldn't be burning dirty flame butter. Why? We have developed wax. Why do you have to go back in time to the time when like we were using reindeer talc for candles? Like
All right.
why are we deliberately going away from? We've invented plates. Why do you need a slab of wood?
To be fair though, with this butter bomb, you could just put a little pat of butter on your waffle and then put some fruits on there instead of this extremely elaborate.
Yeah, but this
melty
is
sphere.
fancier. This is a advance. This isn't regression to like using, I don't know, freaking, reindeer hide to like wrap up a waffle because we're bored with plates and knives and for sophisticated equipment. It uses a freezer too. That's sophisticated. I'm okay with this.
Would you like me to make you a butter bomb?
I mean, I don't know. Can I put it in my bathtub? Like a bath bomb?
Now then you're not eating it.
I don't need this level, but this is like something you get in a fancy restaurant, like a deconstruction kind of place, right?
No, this is something that you would get in like a diner who's pretending to be fancy.
Fine. I'm okay with it. You eat the whole thing. It's not an abuse of the butter to freeze it and then melt it on top of a waffle. I think that's okay. Yeah. This is okay. This is not a step backwards in human evolution and, food craft and food safety.
Okay. Here's a butter bomb on top of a steak. So this butter bomb is like parsley and butter. I would put some garlic in there, though I don't think this person did. Same thing, smeared into the half sphere molds, and then you're going to freeze it, pop them out, and then you can...
But there's nothing in it?
Oh, no, there's stuff in it.
What's in it?
Bacon bits and blue cheese. And so then you put the little halves together, smear it closed, and then you put it on top of your steak, and it melts, and then the little bacon bits and blue cheese are on top of your steak.
I'm not fundamentally against it, but it does seem like you're starting to do a lot more work that could just be done by smearing the stuff on the steak directly.
Now this butter bomb is on peaches, and it's just cinnamon butter, and then same thing. You like put it in the half spheres, and then you put it on some grilled peaches, and then there's honey.
No, this is
And
now we're
inside.
getting into like now we have butter bombs. We got to put them on everything.
I mean, that's literally like what Go Bold with Butter
Who
wants you to do.
grills peaches?
Oh, it's a thing, man.
Really?
I don't like grilled fruit of.
It's
pretty
a
much
thing.
any
You
type.
can grill. People
Yeah.
just grill them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You get some caramelization, some it's a dessert.
I guess.
Grilled peaches.
All right. Well, I mean, at some point it becomes a solution in search of a problem. You know, the butter bombs don't solve
For
a problem.
sure.
But I like the one with has fruit in it. That like spreads this fruit. I think I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you'd showed me the steak one first, I probably would have been okay with it too. But it just seems a little less whimsical.
Fair
Steak
enough.
is more serious food to me than waffles or pancakes.
I'm just like, as we're talking, just scrolling the Instagram of Go Bold with Butter, and they've got this one picture of just like butter going on popcorn, and now I really fucking want some buttered popcorn. So maybe that's what we're gonna do after
Why'd
the
you
podcast.
put a butter bomb on popcorn? Butter
Would you?
bomb.
Fill it up with like Parmesan cheese and
No, just
salt.
put some popcorn inside of it. More popcorn.
The butter bomb. That's the right ratio of butter to popcorn.
Make it a giant bowl-sized butter bomb,
Oh my
like
goodness. Like a
soccer
taco
ball,
salad.
soccer
except
ball
butter.
size. Just put popcorn inside it, and then it's all pre-mixed.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
Butter is good. You gotta treat it with respect, though. Respect the butter.
All right. You said you have a German word of the week.
Oh yeah, Sitzfleisch.
Sitting flesh.
Yeah, sit meat.
Sit meat, yeah.
I mean, it could refer to your butt. It really means a butt.
Oh.
But it metaphorically, if you say someone has Sitzfleisch, he can sit there and take it. He can endure. He can.
Interesting.
He can finish a horrible, boring task because he's got Sitzfleisch. And if you say, der hat aber kein Sitzfleisch, which means he just got no stick-to-itiveness, he's going to get up and fidget, and he's going to run around and, abandon the project because he can't sit through it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's sort of. I mean it's a compliment, but it's also not the not the best thing.
Yeah,
but,
you're not super hardcore.
But if you have ADHD, you don't have any Sitzfleisch. You're just like flitting around.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yo.
Sounds familiar in this house.
Hypothetically, I mean, I know this is just my TikTok-based diagnosis of ADHD. It's a vast overgeneralization. I don't mean to minimize anyone's how it actually manifests for anyone.
No, but Inga will be like, I'm going to call this person. And then half an hour later, I'm like, are you folding laundry still? Because you disappeared into the bathroom.
I was like, I needed a pen, so I went into the kitchen, and then there was some dishes in the kitchen, but then one of the lights was out, so I needed to get a battery from the bathroom, but then there was laundry that wasn't folded, and then it's an hour later, and no, what was I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Originally?
And I'm like,
I needed a pen.
Laundry?
Oh, I needed a pen.
Are you folding laundry is like a very common question where it's like, we're getting ready to go. And then 15 minutes go by and Ingo has...
I don't think it
not
serves us
emerged.
well that we have the washer and dryer in the bathroom, because I go in there for other reasons and I'm like, oh, also.
Yes. You're like, I'm going to brush my teeth before we go on our date. And then it's 15 minutes and I'm like, the teeth are very clean.
But the laundry gets folded.
You do fold a lot of laundry. If we ever get a whole bunch of money, like my little dream is to make this house bigger. Because, like, it's nice. Our house here in the Keys is 1,300 square feet.
Holy cow. The neighbors keep making all of their houses bigger. Every neighbor we have has made their house bigger.
I would just like... I mean, it's fine, right? We have our bedroom. We each have an office. And then we have, like, the main room. I would like to have, like, a workout space. I would like to have a more reasonably sized closet. We have very limited storage. What I really want is... All right, walk-in closet. This is Jen's dream. Walk-in closet. I have not had a walk-in closet since my first fucking apartment in like 2001.
Oh, you had one, and now it's been taken away.
Yeah.
Oh.
Walk-in closet that is like a safe room in that it has an extremely thick soundproof door.
For Brody.
It is insulated from sound, like professionally insulated on all walls. So it serves functionally as a big ass walk-in closet for all my stuff. But also, if you go in there, You cannot hear thunder. And so when there are thunderstorms, I can bring the thunder dogs in there, and we'll have like a little cot, little couch maybe for like changing that we'll pull out into a bed, and one of us can sleep in there with the dogs who will not hear the thunder. That is a dream.
That would be so easy, so much easier than current situations.
Yes. So like workout room, laundry room, nice big walk-in closet / safe room. Real ideal, if we get like a whole bunch of money, we win the lottery. Library.
Oh.
Big vaulted ceiling library with a ladder on a rail.
Oh.
Built in like bookshelves all the way around.
Man, how about an observatory?
We could put an observatory in the library.
How about
like
someone
a little
buys
ladder?
a house with an observatory and then plans to get rid of that observatory?
My brother has an observatory in his house, which he just bought this foreclosed on house, and it's like giant. And he did a great job. He's really fixed it up. But it came with an observatory, which he does not use. They're all, I think, scared of it because of bees.
There were bees in it once?
Wasps. I mean, it's like, it's not cooled, right? Like the heating and stuff don't go up there. So I think it's sort of a little like scary, like you go up
but
a few steps.
But it could all be, it's enclosed.
Yeah.
Has glass,
Yeah.
right? It has a glass skylight or whatever.
I think so.
And then but you could put an I mean, these things could be fixed. We
could put an observatory in the library.
Yes.
Big tall ceiling, and then you go like up a little ladder to like a kind of platform space, and then an observatory. That'd be great.
Be fun. That'd be great.
We gotta win the lottery.
I suck at playing the lottery. Any tips would be appreciated, but I gotta say, the random number selection that we're doing, I think the computer hates me.
I think we could build this edition for, it's probably substantially less than $1 million, but let's say if you guys know of a way for us to get $1 million to build an addition to our house,
I mean, we haven't fully explored only paws.
Only paws.
We got a lot of furry paws.
Oh my god!
And I don't think we've actually tried to monetize that.
Yeah.
I mean, paws pics may be a thing. I don't know.
Oh my god. All right, everybody. Well, I'm sorry that this was mostly sad news. I think we kept it together pretty well.
Yeah. Again, I don't think it's really hit.
No,
completely.
Definitely has not for me.
She's been such a constant, and she's never sought the attention, except when she's Murphy. Yeah, but she's never been intentionally disruptive beyond that.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, so we're recording this podcast early. We're recording on Sunday where we normally record Wednesday, but I'm going to be out of town this week. So this will likely drop early, but there's not going to be like a midweek podcast coming because I'm going to be gone, and I'm going to be gone Tuesday to Saturday. So the next podcast will be next week, probably a more regular. Actually, no, we're going on our little staycation.
So maybe a little early.
It'll also be early next week, but maybe not quite this early.
You never know.
Yeah.
This is the beauty of the world. You never know. Who knows? You might get a couple podcasts. Who knows?
It's unpredictable. For sure.
I might just do no. I mean, you can predict
Just Ingo podcast.
You can predict that.
It would be our most listened to podcast.
Yeah, and it would be your worst nightmare.
We gotta be like 4 hours.
But it would be a lot of people's like, man, that was some crazy crap. No, I fear that. I'm not going to do that.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening and for all of your really supportive comments. Like there were a handful of assholes, which were nobody who followed us. You all were so great, and it really helps us.
No, I think everyone gets the bargain we make with dogs. It's not fair, but it does encourage you to do what you can when you can.
Yep.
I don't regret carrying her up and down the stairs an extra time or going swimming with her one more time or whatever.
No.
It was all, that
we did it right this time.
You do the most you can. Yep.
We did it right.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you all soon. And until next time, Slava Ukraini, and don't bite anyone unless they ask you to.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.